Hey y'all, this is Dave here with bluebearsgames, and this week we are doing the 5th and final 2021 Commander Precon Unboxing and Upgrade Guide, and it is Silverquill Statement. It is the black-white one. Before I get started though, I wanted to mention a small trend I noticed for these videos specifically, all the unboxing and upgrade videos. In each video I always ask for you all to like the video, and the reason for that is that it helps the YouTube algorithm to make the video more visible to those that may want to watch what I put out. And what I've noticed was that one person most likely, has been purposely disliking these videos specifically. I want to start by saying that if you honestly are not a fan of the videos, you don't like the videos that I make, that's fine. Honestly, I'd rather you just message me to talk about what you didn't like so I can improve the videos for future references. I make for everybody. For these videos specifically, however, I looked at the analytics and saw that these dislikes seem to be coming from views that are less than 3 seconds long. So what that tells me is that these dislikes are coming from a hater or from someone that just is trying to be an ass. I doubt they will even get to this point of the video, of this one specifically, but for that person, I want to say the following. These videos take a long time, and a lot of time and work to put together, and if you think you can do better, fucking do it, alright? Stop being a little bitch and fucking do it, alright? And see what it takes to make and edit these videos. And one last thing before I get into this box.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya!
Alright, now that that's done and over with, and I've gotten that off my chest, let's go ahead and get into the Silverquill Statement box. First things first, I'm going to open it up. So here's the ripcord. Love that sound. And let's take a look. As per the other ones, I always go over what's inside the box and show you guys real quick. That's trash. Obviously the same thing as all the other previous 4. Instead of the big oversized commander, they gave you a thick one and then one that you can cut out with some punch outs if you wanted to go ahead and use them. I don't know what I'm going to use them for yet, but I'll just put them aside for now. Then comes the box. The box itself. You know what I noticed on this one though? I didn't see it. There it is. Okay. Obviously some trash there. The little playmat that they give you, which isn't that great. The life counter here is actually pretty cool. I like the colors. It's gray. I'm a big fan of the gray stuff, so that's pretty cool. Put these back in the box, and we'll take a look at the deck. So I'm going to go over each thing that's inside of the actual deck itself, and then we'll go over some upgrade guide options for the guide. So let me open it. Put the trash to the side, and we'll start going over. I'm just going to read off the things. If you want to read what they do, just pause the video in between, and then we'll go from there. So this is the black-white one. It's the recommended one is Brina the Demagogue. It's black, white, and 1, and it is a 1/3. It has flying. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, if that opponent has more life than another of your opponents, that attacking player draws a card, and you as in the person that controls this creature, put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature you control. So it's not very obvious how this would work, but I'll tell you how it will play out. In the version that I'm going to put together, so what they have here in the box is more of a politics version of a deck. It's not so much of a win con, so I'll go over I'll actually show you what's inside the deck, or inside the box itself, and then I'll go over the upgrades and I'll show you how I would go ahead and upgrade this. So we've got Brina out of the way. Next up, the secondary commander that they would suggest is Felisa Fang of Silverquill, and that one is 1 black, 1 white, and 2 of any. It's a 3/2 flyer with Mentor, and whenever a non-token creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, create X tapped 2/1 white and black England creature tokens with flying, where X is the number of counters on it. Or that it had on it. So that's now the direction you can go in, which is Inkling. Which, by the way, I like the way that they drew out the Inklings. They look pretty cool. But you can do Inkling tokens, and then obviously that turns into an Aristocrat-style deck. I'm not going to go in that direction, but I'm going to, again, go over what's inside after that. So, inside the box was Secret Rendezvous, Fracture, not a bad one, Silverquill Campus, Study Hall, again, was in every single one, Elite Scale Guard. I'll give you a second to read that. Ghostly Prison, and I like that they changed the picture. It's a much better picture, at least in my eyes anyway. It's a really good card. Martial Impetus, again they were going with politics, so making it so that they can't attack you. Oreskos Explorer for a little bit of ramp. Orzhov Advocist, Soul Snare, Vow of Duty, Ambition's Cost, Curse of Disturbance, Parasitic Impetus, an Arcane Signet, of course, a Bloodthirsty Blade, a Mind Stone, an Orzhov Signet, and a Soul Ring. Spectral Searchlight, this is where the politics things starts to really shine through. It's like you can give other people mana, and then supposedly they'll favor you, and then they'll attack your opponents. Baron Moor, Bazooka Bog, Command Tower, Myriad Landscape, Opal Palace, you should know all these by now. Orzhov Basilica, a Rogue's Passage, Secluded Step for the cycling. Alright, and we're going to get into the rares, it looks like at this point. First one up, Combat Calligrapher. Give you a second to read that. Guardian Archon, Nils Discipline Enforcer, Promise of Loyalty, Scholarship Sponsor, Author of Shadows, Bold Plagiarist, Cunning Rhetoric, or Rhetoric, sorry, Feign the Broker. That's where that secondary commander starts to show through, where it's got the +1/+1 counters. And again, you can go politics, which is what they are trying to push you towards, or you can do +1/+1 counters to make Inklings, all that stuff. Incarnation Technique, Keen Duelist, Stinging Study, Ink Shield, so more Inklings. Love the way they look. Tempting Contract is an interesting inclusion here. This I will actually probably put in another deck that needs some upgrades. It's good for treasure token stuff. Angel of Serenity, Boreas Charger, Citadel Siege, Duelist's Heritage, Gideon, Champion of Justice, and when we get into the upgrade section, I'm going to show you how I would go about with Gideon. Hunted Lamasu, Knight of the White Orchid for some ramp. Oblation, back in the day, this actually used to tuck somebody's commander and they couldn't get it back, but they changed that rule a couple years ago, so it's no longer as powerful as it was. Selfless Squire, I actually wanted to have on my once list, so I'm glad that it was included here. When I saw this, it's actually going to go into another deck of mine. Actually, it's going to go into the upgraded precon for Raynor. Stalking Leonin, nice to have a cat. Sunscorched Regent, Together Forever, Tragic Arrogance, Windborn Muse, also going into my Raynor. I'm going to pull it from here and put it in Raynor. Zitalpa, this looks like just a throw-in for the deck. I'm not really impressed with that being in here. And Deathbringer Regent. And we'll put them there, and these decks are too big to hold in your hand. Infernal Offering. Necropolis Regent, great for Edgar. Deathbringer Liege, also great for Edgar. Debtor's Knell. Magister of Worth. That's going to take a second for you guys to read. I'll put it up here. Teysa, Envoy of Ghosts. Utter End, good removal. Coveted Jewel, not really sure how good this would be in this deck, but whatever. Pendant of Prosperity. Victory Chimes, again with that politics, giving somebody else mana, maybe they won't attack you. Caves of Koilos, Exotic Orchard. Miko Koro, I actually was going to trade for this card a while ago. The guy ended up trading it to somebody else before I got to it. I'm glad I didn't, because it came in the precon, so good. Probably going to go in the Kusar. Temple of Silence. Tainted Field. Love the tainted lands for Commander. Temple of the False God. And then Plains, Plains, Plains. Swamp, Swamp, Swamp. And then, obviously, they give you the... Instead of the oversized Commander and the Commander precons, now they give you the thick one. So I'll put that to the side. And then Inklings. I told you, I love the picture on the Inklings. Inklings are one of my new favorite tokens to make. I'm going to end up trying to make that as my black-white deck. Zombie tokens, and then, you know, nothing there. On the backs, horror tokens, spirit tokens, treasure tokens. So, as I said, that is what you will find inside the Silverquill Statement Commander Precon box for 2021 from Wizards. So, now we're going to go over upgrade options. This is the part that's going to take the longest. There's the commander right there. I'll zoom in so you can read it as it passes by. Alright, so as far as upgrade options, I'm going to always start with lands. And with lands, it's kind of a generic lot. Because you're in black-white, it's going to be... I always do the Holy Trinity, which is the Scrubland, Godless Shrine, and Marsh Flats. And again, that is the OG dual land, the shock land, and the fetch land. Following that, you'll go with Isolated Chapel, Feted Heath, and Vault of Champions, which is the check land, the filter land, and the bond land. Going further down the list, and when you start to get more desperate, you're going to go with Bright Climb and Grim Climb Pathway, Silent Clearing, and Shine Shadow Snarl. That's more budgetary than anything else. You're in black, so Cabal Coffers and Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. They go great together in a deck that's hungry for mana. And then because we're in white, Serra's Sanctum, because the upgrade option that I'm going to go with is going to have a lot more enchantments in it than the original. You can go with Castles. So Castle Ardenvale helps put tokens into play. Castle Lochtwain helps you draw cards, because that's the weakness in white. And black has not really a weakness, but it's, you know, it hurts. So you're also going to go with a War Room, because you need card draw. Other options, we could go with Emeria, the Sky of Ruin, so you can get stuff back from your grave. Hall of Heliod's Generosity, so you can get enchantments back. And then Caracas, so you can return people's commanders. You can turn your own commander, depending on the situation. So those are my suggestions that I would go with as upgrades for the lands. Moving on to ramp. For ramp, it's going to be generic here as well, just because each of these decks can use some of the same options for ramp. So Thought Vessel, Fractured Power Stone, and Felwar Stone will help make this deck go a little faster. They're all 2 to cast mana rocks, and you don't really want to go into the 3 range unless it's a specific reason. Again, with the same as before, I'm going to go with a Mox Diamond, a Jeweled Lotus, and a Mana Crypt, because they are also quick and useful in any deck. Some options that you can go further with, like 2 converted mana cost stuff. We got Prismatic Lens comes into play, and you can tap it to add a colorless, or you can pay 1 and tap it to add a color in case you're kind of screwed on your mana, the colors. Talisman of Hierarchy, because it's kind of like a dual land, except for it deals damage to you. It's a pain land, but it's a pain mana rock. And then they just spoiled out for Modern Horizons 2 a new one called Liquid Metal Twerk. So those are some options that you're going to have to go mana rocks in black and white, minus the option of, say, Cabal Coffers and Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, maybe even a Nykthos Shrine to the Nyx, but not really in a 2-color. Those are your options to ramp in these 2 colors. Moving forward to creatures. For creatures, you've got a couple options. So utility-wise, you've got the Shadrix Silverquill, which is the Elder Dragon from Strixhaven. You've got Mangara the Diplomat, because, again, utility. It's a white utility card that they just started actually giving white some cards for Commander. And then Keeper of the Cord also fits well as a utility, because that's what they just started printing for white for Commander use. I'm going to take this direction, personally, if I was to upgrade this deck in a Pillow Fort direction. What that means is protecting yourself while all your opponents attack each other. That's what they kind of went with here with the politics, so I'm going to build on that. And I'd say I'd build a Pillow Fort, so to do that, you would go with Baird, Steward of the Argive, or Argive, whatever. Archon of Absolution and Archangel of Tithes. They all have effects that are like Ghostly Prison, where that you can't be attacked unless people are paying for it. So rather than pay to attack you, they're going to attack their opponents. Some various beneficial effects that'll help you win the game. You can do Campbell, Console of Allocation, Archon of Coronation, and the Eidolon of Rhetoric, so that, you know, again, more politics. They don't want to attack you. You Pillow Fort, you're protected, and they just go after your opponents. Some lock pieces, and I'll explain the first one a little later. You have Draneth Magistrate. Elvish Lord is always good to help your opponent's creatures die and yours stay alive or get bigger. And Blazing Archon. So those are a few of the upgrade options I would go with as far as creatures. You're going to take a couple of the ones from the original deck out, some that just seem generic, and go and add those for whichever direction you want to go in. Some spells you'll go with, we've got the Global Removal, and you're in black-white, so you have the best global removal in the game. So you have Wrath of God and Damnation, both do the same thing, just for different colors. And then the new addition to the whole thing is a card that they just spoiled in Modern Horizon 2 called Damn. Literally, it's a Wrath of God or a spot removal card. Depends on how you want to do it. The Overload makes it a Wrath of God. For targeted removal, again, you're in the best 2 colors for targeted removal. You've got Swords to Plowshares, you've got Mortify, you've got Deadly Frolic, and there's a whole bunch more in these 2 colors. You just use the MTG Familiar app or the Gather or whatever you use, and you can go ahead and look up what you want to put in. For some utility, you've got Teferi's Protection. If you wanted to do a little bit with the Inklings, you can do Blot Out the Sky, because it puts its removal and it puts in Inklings. And Approach the Second Sun, because that can be a win con. You've got tutors. We're in black, so you've got Demonic Tutor, Grim Tutor, and Vampiric Tutor. We all know what they are. They're the best of the best. Black is the best of the best for tutoring, so you might as well utilize the color's strengths. And then you've got some card draw from black. Not a lot. So you have the things like Sign in Blood, Night's Whisper, and Read the Bones are the 3 best ones, I believe, as the sorceries that are, you know, small card draw that you could use. So those are some of the spells. As far as artifacts go, you have protection for your commander. So Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots, and then Shadow Spear is good utility to make sure that you can use your removal that's targeted. For more Pillow Fort stuff, you've got things like Crawl Space, Norn's Annex, and Meekstone to help protect you from being attacked. And then I said earlier, I'll explain it. So Draneth Magistrate and Knowledge Pool are a lock, so it helps protect you from everything. So if you have those 2 in play, you can go ahead and put a Knowledge Pool in with the Draneth Magistrate, and you've got a lock on your opponents being able to cast things. And then Archaeomancer's Map. It was put in the previous precon I did. It was not included in this one because obviously only one precon gets the good stuff from Commander. So that's one that you could port over to this one and it would help. Now the enchantments. You can pillow fort really well with the enchantments for these two colors. So I would start off with Revenge of Ravens, No Mercy, and Kukshin Falls or Kokushin Falls. I can't really say the name. Kushka Falls. It'll be up here and you'll be able to read it. I think it's Koshka Falls or something like that. All of them pillow fort well. It helps prevent you from being attacked. It makes your opponents want to attack each other instead. Some enchants that do ramp that would help out the deck would be, and this is going to be a win con condition that could also be of use as well. Smothering Tide gives you treasure tokens. Monologue Tax also gives you treasure tokens, and then you can do Revel and Riches because not only does it give you treasure tokens, but it gives you a win con. Once you have 20 of them at the beginning of your upkeep, you can win the game that way. Some enchantment card draw would be things like Phyrexian Arena, Necropotence, and Greed. They all would help you get some good card draw in these colors. For more pillow fort action, you can do Sphere of Safety. Nobody's going to do this, but you could do Moat. It would be great. And then a little cheeky inclusion could be something like Island Sanctuary, especially for doing something with, say you have a Phyrexian Arena or a Necropotence out or even the Greed itself. Island Sanctuary makes it so that only things that have Island Walk and Flying can attack you if you skip drawing a card during your draw steps. So it's a cheapest version that you can get of Moat I can come up with. And of course there's always, I don't like using land tax often. Now that I've realized that in 3-color decks you don't have as many basics that you need, but in 2-color decks you do. So land tax goes a long way. Black Market helps you ramp a little bit, and then a nice little inclusion would be Marquesas Decree. Sorry, Marquesas Decree. Good little options for a little bit of ramp, a little bit of utility. So those are all options I would do on the enchantment side. Now, I said earlier, the Gideon that was included in here actually gave me an idea as to how to utilize walkers for this deck, because the black-white ones and even the colorless ones don't really do a lot to help this deck along with politics and maybe, pillow forting. However, one of the things that I've realized in my time of playing Magic is that in blue-white you need a beater that doesn't die to removal easily. So that's where the walkers come in, and that Gideon is the idea that you would use the whole time. So you're going to use all the Gideons, whichever ones you can get your hands on, because they are indestructible when they're creatures. They become creatures so that they are the things that you can Wrath of God or Damnation while they're not creatures, and then make them creatures because they're walkers and attack in, and you can get your damage in that way. So we're going to do all the Gideons. So we're going to start with Gideon Blackblade, Gideon Jura, and Gideon of the Trials. Those are the first 3 I would start with, and I'm just going to go alphabetically at this point because all the Gideons should be used. There's also Gideon of Ally of Zendikar, Gideon Martial Paragon, and Gideon the Oathsworn. All of them work very well in a deck where if you're wiping the board, they don't get hit because they're not creatures. Then you can turn them into creatures and then attack in. That's how you can win. Going further with the walkers, we're going to go with the Pillow Fort theme would be a Teo, the Shield Mage, and the Wanderer. I love pairing together because one gives you hexproof and the other one makes you not be able to take damage other than combat damage. And if you're pillow forting with all those things that make it so you can't be attacked, they work. It works together very well as long as you can protect the Wanderer. And then the last one I would suggest, because it's a board wipe, is Ugin the Spirit Dragon, because it can wipe out everything on the board and you don't have to worry about it. It's just a good utility one, and it's one of my favorite walkers. So those are the options I would give you as far as upgrades for this deck. It could be a pretty good, it's an interesting one to say the least. I don't like playing the politics game, but this one would play it very well. As far as the win cons go, I gave you a whole bunch. So first, you're hoping that your opponents do most of the work for you on this one. You can lock your opponents out with the Knowledge Pool and the Drannith Magistrate. And then the Gideons could help you while you're being protected by your Pillow Fort and your Wrath of Godding or Damnationing everything on the board. You can use the Gideons afterwards to go ahead and attack and do your damage. So that's a couple of the ways that you can go ahead and win this game. I also gave you the Smothering Tide and Monologue Tax with Revel and Riches. So that's technically 4 ways that you can win with this deck with some of the upgrades. So there you have it. That is my video for the week. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I would please ask that you go ahead and like, not dislike, but please like, subscribe to the channel. We're at 297 as of this video. I'm trying to get to 300, and then apparently I want to get to 5 so I can give away a deck. So at 300 I want to give away a code, at 500 I want to give away a deck. And share this out to your friends, anybody who might want some help on what to do to upgrade this deck a little bit further, or somebody that just wants to spend time watching stuff about Magic. I'm okay with that. A lot of people say that they like my voice, they like the way I talk. Hey, if you want to use it for ASMR purposes, I don't care. Just watch the video all the way through. I kind of like my analytics to go up a little bit. You know what I mean? So, anyway, that is my time for the week again. Thank you for watching, and again, please remember, like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions, comments, or even suggestions, instead of disliking the video, you can give me some suggestions on what would make you like them. Please feel free to contact me through either the Facebook page. Usually that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. Go to the Facebook page, bluebearsgames on Facebook, and I would be more than happy to go over anything you would like. So, until next week, please stay safe, enjoy your week, and I will see you all then.